Okay, so today we're going to be talking about not letting your setback prevent your get back. And this is probably, bar none, probably my favorite topic ever, because it is something that it is taking me most of my life to get this. And so I like to bring this up every so often in case maybe you missed it, maybe you need to hear it again, maybe there's somebody new, because it is, in my opinion, more important than how you eat, how you track your macros, anything. This is the most important thing, because if you don't get this, and if this is a problem for you, you're probably not going to make it to goal. But even if you make it to goal, you might go backwards and never get back again. Trust me when I say that I know what I'm talking about here, because I have done this a zillion times. Hi, Janet. Oh, thank you so much. She loves my collagen powder. Thank you. I'll read comments as I kind of go along here. But first, just in case there's anybody new here, my name is Lita, and I am not a doctor. I'm just super passionate about keto and natural health, and anything I talk about here is just my opinion. Please talk to your doctor and do your own research. But I've lost 55 pounds on keto, and I just really love to talk about it. And anything that I, motivational wise, think might be able to help you guys. I've really been through the ringer when it comes to the whole weight loss thing. And so most of the things that I talk about are things that have happened to me or I've experienced. And so I just really love to pass that on to you guys. So, okay, not letting your setback prevent your get back. So here's the thing. It is the extremely rare person that is never going to have a setback. And I'm not even talking about a one and done. Like I talk about that in the group all the time about, you know, you're doing your keto and you're rocking on and everything's going good. And then you decide to have a little off-seas, and we'll call that a one and done. You just have your little one and then you're done and then you get back onto keto. I'm not even really putting that in this category. What I'm saying is that there are sometimes things have happened in your life where you may go off. And I mean like off. Okay, you guys know what I'm talking about here. Like something very stressful happened in your life, something upsetting or whatever. There could be a million reasons why. And you just decided, whatever, I don't give a crap. I'm just going to eat whatever I want and I'll get back to this later. And that is okay if that's what you do. If that's what you end up doing, you come back to it and then that's great. But most of the time, people, and this is what I did. I'll just tell you what I did for most of my life. Every time I would kind of go off, whatever plan I was on, I would have this guilt in my mind. And I talked about this today in Motivational Monday. I've said to myself, oh, once again, I failed. You know, I started this diet and of course I went off of it and of course I can't do it perfectly or whatever. And so I've got that in my mind. Or I might have said to myself, I just don't have willpower. I just do not have the willpower to do this thing. It's just not in me. Or, you know what? When my circumstances change, then I will be able to do this thing, which honestly is most of the time, it's a fib that we tell ourselves because we just don't really want to deal with getting back on it. I've probably lost 40 or 50 pounds in my adult life, probably about 4 or 5 times. That's the truth. And it was okay, fair enough. I wasn't doing keto. Okay, there's a big difference between keto and just regular dieting. But I don't believe that was my biggest stumbling block. my biggest stumbling block was what I was saying in here. It was what I was saying in here. It was like I was putting myself down. I was beating myself up. It was like if I couldn't do the thing that I set out doing perfectly, the way that it was intended, then I was just a failure. And if I was a failure, then I am stopping myself from getting back on. You guys tell me if you have said these things to yourself. Have you ever felt like that when you've really kind of gone off? Have you ever said these words to yourself like, you know, I just don't have enough motivation. I just don't have the willpower. Or I really got to get motivated. I really got to get back on track. But then you just don't, right? It's these things that we're saying in our head. That's what prevents us from getting back on. And like I said, I bring this up often in the group because I see it time and time again. And because I have been through it so many times, I totally get it. I absolutely, totally get it. Someone said yes. Janet said yes. You totally understand what I'm saying. Linda too. Yep. And it's like, oh, there's another one here. Sean, I can relate. I'm still struggling to just totally recommit again. I'm not gaining or losing. I'm just stuck. I do good for a week and then I eat like crap for a day and then start again. So Sean, I'd be curious. Do you know what you're saying in your mind? Like, are there things that you're saying to yourself? Like, I'll just pick one, but well, I'm super busy now. There's a lot of stuff going on and this is just not the right time for me. Or do you think maybe there's a little something up there that maybe you're saying like, I did so good before and now I'm not committed like I was before. Like, I'm just curious what it is that you're saying to yourself. Because I find that when we can take the emotion out of it, it changes everything. Like the first thing that I came up with for myself, it really was the one and done. Because I found that even when I would have a little backsies, I was still saying those things to myself. So when I came up with the one and done and I shared it with you guys loved it. It totally works for me because it helps me to flip back really quickly. But what about those times when it's like a longer stretch, right? There's so many reasons why that can happen. And then that's when the real mental game comes in. And if we can just take the emotion out of it and we can just be like, okay, you know what? Yeah, I completely went off the rails. I completely blew it. You know what? I fell off the wagon. I threw on the gas and I lit the match, right? That happened. That I'm acknowledging it. That happens. Don't even have to make excuses as to why it happened. It doesn't even matter. It just happened. I allowed it. I own it, right? That's the other thing. Just owning your own, I won't swear, but just owning it, right? So instead of making a bunch of excuses and but just be like, yeah, that is what happened. Take the emotion out of it and just be like, okay, so now I'm getting back on track. I'm not going to let that bother me. I'm not going to let that keep me down. I'm just going to get back on track. And that's a whole other topic that we talk about too, about what are the best ways to get back on track. Because like I was saying today in the group, if your blood sugar is super high because you've been off for a long time, then going back to your usual that you were doing like immediately might be too much. That might be too much. And then it could help you, that might make you go backsies again because you've got that super carb craving thing happening, right? So there's easy ways to do it. You can just like cut out the worst offenders for a couple of days, but just eat all you want of everything else. Don't bother tracking or anything. Just get yourself into that really good place, but cut out all the sugar and the grains and all the really high carbs, right? Get used to that for a couple of days. Then when you get used to that, then up your fat. Then when you're starting to feel the groove again, start tracking again. No one says that you have to punish yourself. Just because you went off, just because you had a setback, doesn't mean you have to punish yourself. And I see this also in the group a ton. People will say, oh, yeah, I really went off it or whatever, and that's it. I'm jumping into a 3-day water fast. Okay, are you kidding me? Like, and I give you all the credit in the world if you're that kind of person that can do that, but no way. If I tried to do that, I would have my face full of Doritos in a second. I would not be able to stop myself. And I am a binge eater. I am a binge eater. So things like that trigger me. So you really have to know yourself. But anyways, that's kind of off the topic. Janet, before I got back on track for summer, that's what I would say to myself. Well, I have lots of weight. I deserve to have a cheat day. It happened so fast. And then I noticed I wasn't losing, went up a couple pounds. Yeah, that happens. And just acknowledging it is really, really good. Those are lies that we kind of tell ourselves, right? I do that all the time too. I mean, for goodness sakes, if I'm not tracking it, oh, it doesn't count. Or, oh, I've been doing really good. I deserve to treat myself or whatever. And you know what? That's fine. If that's what you want to do and you want to go off it or whatever, but we're lying to ourselves if we say that that's not going to make a difference. But anyways, what I really want to talk about was the negative things that we say to ourselves when we're in that low time, right? And we're wanting to get back in, but because of what we're saying to ourselves in our mind, it's preventing us from getting back on. Honestly, if I had really gotten this many years ago, I don't think I would have gotten to the weight that I had gotten to. And I will say that it is, besides keto being amazing, absolutely the best way I've ever eaten in my life, for sure. But I mean, that's not what kept me regaining the weight, right? Like, so now that I'm on keto, yes, it's the best way to eat. But because I've got this in my mind, even on keto, I've gained. I have gained, I've gone off. You guys know I'm perfectly honest about that. I am not perfect keto all the time. But if it wasn't for this mind shift change, I could have gone backwards. When I start going off the carbs and stuff, it's really addicting to me. And like I said, I'm a binge eater at heart and a carb addict at heart. And so when those things get a hold of me, it is harder for me. I know logically what I need to do to get back on track. But if I let the mental aspect get to me, I'll just be perfectly honest. Here I am talking to you guys. I love helping you guys. But when I have a backsies, one of the things that kind of got to me earlier on was I'd say to myself, well, who am I to help anybody? I'm not doing it perfectly every day. That was something that I used to say to myself. That used to bring me down. And I've changed that now. You don't have to be perfect to motivate other people. I am certainly not perfect. But this is the biggest thing, is changing the mindset, changing the things that you say in your head. Instead of being hard on yourself, just owning it, just being like, okay, yeah, I went off. That's just how it goes. And now I'm going to get back on again. The other thing I want to say too is also really owning our own crap. Okay. Because if we're being perfectly honest with ourselves, and I have done this many times too, where I say, well, there's just too many things going on, or da 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 da. And that's actually bull crap, like most of the time, because 99% of the time we are in control, totally in control. It doesn't honestly matter if you have a lot of company or you're traveling or whatever. We can totally do keto or close to it when we're gone. And I'm not saying that you have to do that, but I'm just saying own it. That's all I'm saying. Because when we tell these lies to ourselves, right, and we put them in there, it's being super passive. It's actually taking away our power. When we say, well, it's not my fault. No, own it and say, you know what? Went off the wagon, totally fine with it. I don't care. It was a weekend or whatever, back on track today. I got it, right? That's more powerful than saying, well, it's not my fault. And you know what? There's nothing I could do or whatever. That's super passive. And we don't need that. We don't need that. We can be super powerful in our own life, and we can be in control. So I'm gonna go back here and read some stuff. Sean, I'm saying to myself, well, I'm super stressed with my work and stuff is nuts. People I've known forever just got fired. I don't care. It's just an excuse. I threw myself under the bus plus a lot. Right. But the truth is, and I think I see where you're going with this. The truth is that with all the stress going on, I'm not going to deny you have a lot of stress going on. But you know what? Whether you decide to eat that donut or you decide to eat like 2 big, sausage links or whatever, that was your choice, right? Like I'm just saying, own that part of it. You decided to eat the donut. When I'm under a lot of stress, the little trick that I give myself, and it's actually really worked many, many times, when I'm under a lot of stress and I feel like, look, I don't have it in me to track. I don't have it in me to fast. But I know what's keto and I know what's not keto. And I don't need a book or a tracker to tell me that. And I'm going to eat whatever I want, as much as I want, as long as it's low carb, close to keto, in the zone. But I'm going to eat as much as I want and whenever I want. I'm not going to put any pressure on myself whatsoever. That right there takes the pressure off. When you got a lot of stuff going on, I'm just saying, and I'm not picking on Sean. Sean, I have been there many, many times, but I know when I have had a bunch of Krispy Kreme donuts, I was the one that allowed that. I could have had something else. There's always other choices. I don't think I've ever been in a situation where there wasn't another choice, but I decided to go ahead and do that. So that's what I need to do. Own my own crap. Yeah. You know what? It's like super empowering. It's absolutely super empowering. Just say, you know what? Oh no shit. I'm owning it. Right? Instead of being passive. And then that just like, I don't know. I just feel like it totally takes our power away when we do that. Aw, Sean, you're absolutely welcome. You know what, girl? I have been there so many times. That's why I totally get it. And I totally get you because I have been there so many times. And now I don't let it bother me. Like I said, I even had, times during this time with you guys, like in these years that I've been with you guys, that I've had, they call it like imposter syndrome. If you've heard of that before, where I said to myself, well, I'm not being perfect and I've gained a few pounds and I didn't do perfect keto for that last week or whatever. Who am I to talk to people about, how to get healthy or whatever? Stop it. Stop it. Ridiculous. It's totally ridiculous. And so that's really, I don't know when that started happening, but that's really when I became 100% honest with you guys. And we started like keto confessions on Friday night and one and done and all that kind of stuff, is because it's so much better to be honest about it than to be passive about it. And this is what I truly believe has helped me to keep the weight off. Because like I said, I have lost and regained that same 40, 50 pounds like 4 times in my adult life. Why is this time different? Why have I been able to keep it off this time? I swear, maintenance or trying to keep off the weight, I almost feel is a little harder than when you're actively really losing the weight, because when you're really, really in the zone and nothing can stop you, you're in the zone and you're go, 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 right? But then, like I said, something happens and you kind of go off or whatever, right there. That's the pivotal moment right there. What are you going to do about it? You got to shit or get off the pot, right? That's your decision right there, what you're going to do. It doesn't matter what you did, but what are you going to do going forward? And I swear that is the biggest aha moment for me that has helped me to actually keep the weight off and feel like I am moving forward. Am I at my goal? No, I still have a ways to go and I don't even know what that looks like until I get there. But I swear this is exactly what has helped me to keep it off and not go all the way backsies like I have all those other times. Now I just own it and I just move on. And there are times like, as you will hear in Keto Confessions this Friday, I got in pretty hardcore with a bag of potato chips this last weekend. And it just is what it is. I made that decision. I decided that's it. I just have to have them. And I ate them and it wasn't a huge bag, but I went to town and they were damn good. And I could have let that right there make me feel guilty to not continue back on. But I went, nope, that was it. I had my one and done. And the next day, and let me tell you, the next day, I really felt the blood sugar. But again, I didn't let that bring me down. I was like, no, I need extra fat today. I need a little extra calories today to help me get over that little hump of last night. Now I'm right back into the zone again. So whatever, it set me back a couple of days. It didn't set me back months, and it didn't put me back 40 pounds, right? It was just a short little thing. But that bag of potato chips was something that totally would have knocked me down in the olden days. That right there was a pivotal moment that could have made me go this way. And it did many, many times. So anyway, you guys, let's see what you guys have to say. Janet said, I needed this today. Oh, that's awesome. Susan, you're so welcome. Sean, I was in that zone, not anymore. Decision time. Exactly. Make that decision. Put that line in the sand. But saying that though, Sean, making that decision and saying, that's it, I'm doing it, right? And that is fantastic. And that kind of needs to happen. In order for you to really make a launch, you really do need to do that. But in saying that, it doesn't mean that forever you're going to be perfect. Sometime after that decision, you are going to probably eat something that isn't keto or have an evening or whatever. And that's okay. That's okay. But the quicker, literally, let's go back to the one and done. The quicker that you can do the one and done, the better. Like absolutely the better. The longer you don't let it prolong, the better. Like I said, Sean, if you're having a stressful time, like I've literally gone to the fridge and gone, okay, that's it. I'm not tracking today. I'm under a lot of stress. And I'd pick up like a whole thing of sausage and I'm going to eat that all day. Like I don't give a crap about how many calories. I don't give a crap about what my macros are today, but I know that it's keto. I know there's no grains in it. I know that it's pretty much all protein. I'm going to have that in a pickle. I'm going to call it a day. So you know what I mean? Like that can be just as good and satisfying as having that donut, right? Because sometimes it's that when you're under that stress, it's just like, I just want to eat whatever I want and I don't want to track a damn thing, right? You can do that with sausage and pickles. You can do that with a container of berries even, right? You can do that with a lot of other things. It doesn't necessarily have to be a donut. I'm just using the donut as an example because I have done that before. I've actually eaten 6 Krispy Kreme donuts in one sitting. It's embarrassing to say, but I did. Because like I said, at my core, I am a binge eater and I'm a carb addict. So my medication is keto and fasting. Tanya, I appreciate and value your honesty, Lita. You're very welcome, Tanya. Tanya knows very well my journey. Tanya and I are good friends, and she knows the things that I have gone through. So the mind shift thing is absolutely the most important thing. Because let's face it, you guys, like I said, I feel that keto is the healthiest way to eat. But as time goes on in your journey, you're going to probably change the way that you do your keto. I've actually changed mine up a lot. Like I'm a lot higher protein now than I was before. I kind of ebb and flow in fasting and not fasting, and more protein and sometimes lower protein and higher fat sometimes, depending on what I'm doing or if I'm getting back into it again. So like I said, those are variables, and eating low carb keto, that really, really definitely helps us keep our blood sugar down so that we can stay within our calories and our macros. And it really, really helps us. But I promise you, without the mind shift change, it is just another way of eating. It isn't like absolute magic on its own, right? Because let's face it, we are going to have other things in our lives. Things are going to come up and we are going to go off. And how do we deal with that? If we expect perfection, we're not going to continue on. It's not going to happen. Let me just see where I go back here. Berries are... Karenza, berries are a great example of something sweet that you can bash on to get over a hump. Exactly. You feel like you're having this huge treat. I know one time I was feeling like I just have to have something and I just need to feel like I'm eating as much as I want. And I happened to have Greek yogurt in the fridge and I had just a small thing of raspberries. And I was like, you know what? I'm not even tracking this thing. And I just filled up a big bowl of the Greek yogurt and I put in some stevia and I put in the raspberries and I put in some hemp hearts. And I'm telling you, was so filling and so satisfying. And absolutely, I probably went over my macros that day, but it gave me what I needed. In like, I didn't want to track. I wanted to feel like I just want to eat as much as I want. And it really got me over that hump. I remember that was a very stressful day, and that totally helped me. Like I said, you don't have to have the donut or the chips or whatever to do it. Carla, this really resonates with me today. Oh, awesome. I'm so glad. Sean, absolutely, you rock. Thank you. Thank you guys very much. I really appreciate that. And like I said, it's because of my experience. I've been through this so many times. And I just really want to share it with you guys, because we can talk about all the awesome keto tips and recipes and that kind of stuff. And they're great. They're fantastic. I love talking about that stuff, but that's only going to be as good as whatever you're thinking up here, honestly. Nobody is ever going to be perfect all the time. And we have to be able to get ourselves back. So yeah, so that was basically my message for you guys today. I'm going to drink some more of my, I got to tell you, in case you guys came in late, I'm going to talk about this one more time. And this is just in Canada at the Superstore, but I guarantee you guys in the States have something that's very similar. It's a sparkling beverage. And this one, it says golden peach. And to me, it tastes like, it says golden peach, but actually, now that I look at it, that actually is a nectarine. I think that is nectarine. And that's probably why I love it so much, because, do you guys like nectarine? Like the flavor of nectarines when they're in season is like, la. And so anyways, when you want something and you want it, like, to me, this is just like having a nectarine without eating the nectarine. Like, it's giving me, it's like I'm pounding down a whole bunch of fruit. And yet it's sweetened with stevia. There's no artificial anything in it. I love a win-win. This is from the Superstore. If anybody is looking for it, there's also cherry, lemon, lime, or whatever, but this is my favorite. Oh my gosh. Like, I feel like I'm having the biggest treat right now. I'm not kidding you. This is my happy hour drink. Welcome to my happy hour. Yeah, so I have this most days with my happy hour. It is so, so good. Yeah. And having this stuff at the ready, little pro tip there, just always having stuff like this in the fridge, ready to go. So whenever you want to have yourself that little treat or whatever, or just like in the evening or something. Oh my gosh, I'm addicted to it. Okay. Sparkling ice brand in the US, 0 carbs, 0 sugar, super flavorful. Yes. I think we have that one too. I'm pretty sure I saw it at Costco or something. But anyways, yeah, anything like that you guys really love. It's really good to have on hand. So anyways, exactly, Karenza, because regular donuts are poison. I am walking evidence of it. My pants are mad, and donuts and pasta and bread. Oh, the damn grains, honest to goodness. Like I said, you want to have a binge, take a full thing of like kielbasa sausage and just, I mean, seriously, it's very satisfying. I don't know what it is. Like, maybe because, like I said, I am a binger at heart. And so binging on anything, like a bunch of cheese, a bunch of sausage, a bunch of pickles. I posted that in the group before, like once in a while, I'll just stand at the fridge and I'll open it and I'll just like start pulling stuff out. And you know what? As long as it's low carb keto, I don't care. Some days I just truly don't want to track. And it gives me this sort of mental break. If I can just kind of like go for it. I know what's high carb and I know what's not high carb, and I'll just go for it. And you know what? Probably at the end of the day, it probably wasn't that far off the mark, but once in a while, I just need that. So if you're like that, once in a while, just give yourself that mental freedom to just have like a anything goes keto day, right? Just keep it keto, keep it really low carb, but kind of like anything goes, give yourself that break once in a while. It's kind of nice. When I'm on the zone of tracking, I usually do the no tracking thing on Sundays. I kind of like doing that on Sundays because we usually have, a nice family dinner, and what I make is definitely kind of keto friendly, or at least most of it is. And I avoid the other stuff. And I just kind of like the mental break of just, I'm not fasting, I'm not tracking. And I just like to have that for myself. So does that mean that, maybe it takes me a little bit longer and I'm a little bit slower to lose the weight? Yep, probably. But this is the part that helps me. This is the thing that I have just learned over the years for myself, is that the mental aspect is so, so, so important. Being super strict all the time, if you're that kind of a person and you can do that, that's awesome. And I definitely don't want to discourage that. I'm just saying, if you're the kind of person that has these, I don't want to say mental issues. I don't mean it like that, but like me, you kind of play these mental games in your head. I don't know how else to say it, but like you say these things to yourself and you talk to yourself a certain way or whatever. And sometimes if I've been really, really strict for a long period of time, I need to give myself the mental break of always tracking all the time. I'm just putting it out there for if anybody feels like that. But anything goes keto day. Yeah, exactly, Tanya. Like, you give yourself that break, right? Tanya's doing amazing on keto. And when you're in the zone, I certainly don't want to discourage you from staying on the zone. But I'm saying, if you get to that point where you're kind of like, oh man, I kind of need a break or whatever, kind of a free keto day is way better than saying, oh, I'm going to have like a whole bunch of donuts or whatever. And trust me, you actually get that same satisfaction. You really don't need the donuts, and you don't need the pizza, and you don't need the chips to give yourself that mental freedom. It's a fun day. It's a fun day. And I actually find that I don't eat as much as I say, I'm going to have all this stuff or whatever. And then you end up getting full and you don't eat as much. And as soon as you are full, you kind of lose that feeling of wanting to eat like a ton. But just allowing yourself to do that is awesome. And I think you should definitely do that if you are feeling like that. Yep. I have those thoughts. Yep. Tanya gets it. Let's see. Linda, yes, I call it head games. That's it. That's a perfect way to say it. Head games. Definitely the things that we say in our head. Corinne's, I definitely love taking a day where I just eat and I don't count macros, bake something keto and delicious. Exactly. Like, we have to look at this as a marathon and not a sprint. And I think back, even in my earlier keto times, when I was just being so, so strict. Do you want to hear something? This is a true story. My husband will tell you that this actually happened. So when I make like spaghetti or whatever, right, I'll make the sauce. Obviously, the sauce is going to be like super low carb and lots of meat and whatever. So the sauce is for all of us. But then I will cook their pasta in one, pot, and then I've got my shirataki noodles or my zucchini noodles or whatever in the other one. But at that time, I had something and I was cooking it. So maybe it was those Paul mini noodles, whatever you call it, Paul. You know what I'm talking about. Anyway, I was cooking whatever it was for me, and I was cooking it. My husband comes in, and I have one spoon, like a wooden spoon on each side of the pot. He stirs his pasta, wheat pasta, and then he takes that same spoon and he stirs mine. And I was like, oh, what have you done? What have you done? You can't mix. I had my own spoon. Don't mix the grain spoon with the non-grain spoon. Okay, that's ridiculous. I mean, it's a spoon. How much could it have been? I mean, it was like nothing. But what I'm saying is that I was so fixated on doing everything perfectly at the beginning that one little thing, literally, I lost my mind. I lost my mind in that moment because I was so upset that his spoon went into mine. And now I'm thinking that there's these like grain germs in my, keto side. Don't do that. Don't do that. But that's the way I was at the beginning. So even though at the beginning, keto was super healthy, up here, I wasn't healthy yet. I still was playing these mind games. Perfect word, Linda. I was playing these mind games. So whether the mind games are forcing yourself to be way too strict, not forgiving yourself when you're not perfect, or making excuses about, it's too hard right now or blah, blah, blah. These are all mind games. If we just own it, take all the emotion out of it, it is so much better. Like, I wish so much that I had known all this stuff earlier. But you know what? I needed to go through it. And if I hadn't gone through it, I wouldn't be able to talk about this with you guys, because I can tell you that I've gone through all this and I know what it feels like. So this way I can pass it on to you, and hopefully you won't have to go through quite as much as I did, because I feel like that it was a big thing. I probably could have gone into like food counseling or something like that. I probably needed that earlier on. Kearns, I used to be like that. Grain germs. It was. That's exactly how I felt. Like, grain germs. No, don't let it touch it. I literally freaked out. I mean, maybe I was like PMSing at the time or whatever. I don't know, but all I know is that it was a huge freak out. And I remember he's standing there like this. like what is wrong with her? Like, is this keto making you a little weird or something? But anyways, I have since gotten over that. I now, will share spoons and I'm fine with it, but I'm not quite as bad as I used to be. Anyways, you guys, that's my message for today. And I'm really glad that this resonated with you, because I hear it in the group all the time. And I'm really happy to see a few people in here that I know for fact kind of went off and are now back on. And so I know that you guys totally get it. And it's really nice that we can share this kind of information here and in the group, because the more that we share and we talk about this, there are so many people that are in the group that I know for fact never ever comment, but they read everything and they benefit. And I've had people message me, many people message me privately, and they say, I'm not one to comment, and I'm definitely not one to post, but thank you so much for what you say. And I'm so appreciative of everybody in the group of what they talk about, because it has helped me so much. So it's really great for those of us that are comfortable sharing, that we keep on sharing these things, and then other people can benefit from it. So yeah, so that's it, you guys. I'm going to let you go. I'm going to go enjoy the rest of my happy hour with my husband. It's a nice day out, so we're going to go sit outside and finish the rest of my drink. And you guys have a lovely night. And actually, before I run up, and I'm totally sorry, I forgot to do the 7-day macro tracking challenge random draw winner. So immediately after this, I am going to go do that. I'm going to announce the winner, and then I'll finish my happy hour. Okay, you guys have a good night. We'll talk to you later. Bye. Hey guys, before you go, hit the like and subscribe button if you haven't already, and hit the bell notification so you can be notified every time we have a new video posted. Also, down in the description, I will have links to everything that we talked about in our chat today, including information on how you can join my Intentionally Bare Keto support group. See you next time.